the first thing you had to do is get what? Them little old bitty screws.
Yep. Once you get those out of that hole right there, one here, one here. Once you get those out, don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
Golly. 12 millimeter wrench
Put it back.
to pull loose your slide pins. This rotates without your brake on. You have to have your brake unset. So I clamped it off so we could get these screws out. One of them was kind of tough.
Yeah.
So this rotates. You can take this off now. Now free spin. Pull your 12 millimeter bolts out. Top and bottom.
All right, those back ones.
The brackets are 14 millimeter.
Okay. 14 millimeter, and there's 2 bolts, right?
Yes, sir.
One on top, one bottom.
Super handy.
Oh yeah, those little old ratchet. Yeah, I like them things.
Either that or I like the electric ratchet myself.
Yeah.
One of Pawpaw's favorite here, the electric ratchet. Alright, that's the 2 tools that I used. As you can tell, we didn't really know what size it was right off the bat.
And when you're not sure, grab them all.
Eyeball it and grab at least a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to be wrong. With my luck.
We gotta get a bungee cord too, don't we?
Actually, that's set right there without any problem. Just flipped it over, set it right on top of the suspension.
Okay. Yeah.
Generally, you want to.
Gotta do something.
There's your brakes. Pretty rough.
Yeah, those little
One of those was making noise.
Uh-huh. Alright.
Rotor should just pop right off. Should.
Should. And never does.
We might have to put 8 millimeter bolts in here and pull it off. A little penetrating oil to lubricate that right there.
Mm-hmm.
And a little tap on the back side evenly all the way around.
Mm-hmm. It is coming off. Things do.
Gotta do it even.
They do get seized on there.
There we go. And brake pads underneath will catch it when it's at a wobble. And it's slick.
There we go.
Voila.
They will get seized on there, won't they?
Absolutely.
Is
They
that
seize on this right here.
these are brake shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Park brake.
Park brake shoes.
Generally, those don't get used, so they're pretty good most of the time.
Yeah, so we're not going to bother with them.
Not at all. Just clean them up a little bit with the brake fluid.
That's,
Brake cleaner.
yeah, they're not bad. at all. Those are like the old school brakes, drum brakes on a old Chevy. On an old Chevy truck or old anything.
Just a little brake parts cleaner to clean all that stuff you sprayed on. Try to get rid of any of the old brake dust you can. Just in case. Helps do away with any squeaking or squealing.
Alright. Cleaned up and ready to go.
Little brake parts cleaner. They coat these things in a light oil to keep them from rusting. You want to clean this off too, because that's where your park shoes go. And if you have some smoke after you put these on and you didn't do this,
that's the reason why.
I'll give you a guess why. That oil just burning off.
Which it will burn off.
It will, but you don't want it to. That's
Don't help your brake pads.
not a real good smell.
Here's your brake pads, and these, I guess, are the ones that hold the pad on.
Correct. Those are the clips. Which, with the bracket off the car, we can go ahead and put brake shoe pads in. Whatever. One clip, they only go on one way on these. Most of the other ones are pretty universal how they go on. These only go on one direction. So you got backwards pads, one for the left of the truck, one for the right. These don't have wear indicators on them. If you don't know what goes where, you want to make sure that you follow along with your old setup.
Whatever the old ones are.
Whatever your old setup is. Just put these right back where they were, right to the outer edge, right inside the clip. That way your rotor can slide right through. I'd say we get quite a bit of difference
They
here.
need a little pad, don't they?
It's not in a good place in its life. Another thing you want to do before you put these on is get you a little bit of grease.
Forgot about the grease.
For some reason, we like to buy enough grease to last through our great grandkids' lives. When we buy it, we don't buy the little containers. That's a bad investment choice. It's probably why we're broke. We buy everything
Big quantity.
in an excessive amount instead of what we need. Yeah, this is an anti-chirp plate that doesn't work. So you put a little bit of grease on it, it keeps things from chirping. You also want a little grease where you're just a fine amount right where everything slides.
Where it's touching.
Just that way it can slide in that bracket. Do not get any on the face of your pads. Then you go right back to the... That right back in there. Do the same thing on this one, a little bit of grease. Put it on the edge of your finger, touch it, and then you can rub it with your other finger, other side of your finger. That way you don't have big globs all over it.
It just needs to be a little bit of a coating.
Just a little bit.
Alright, and you even put a little grease right here in the little circle.
Just on that.
Just to keep it from seizing back on there like it was before. Hard to get on and off.
They make something called anti-seize.
We won't have a problem somebody won't have a problem anymore.
I'm not buying a $14.
And back on like it was.
Maybe. There you go.
All the way on. There you go.
If you want to, you can put those screws back in.
Those tiny screws. You gonna put them back in?
I'm gonna put one in because I just like having problems later in life. Got your one lined up right there. Just put it back in. Do yourself a favor and don't torque it down. There's going to be something laying right over the top of it. Just make sure it's under the flush level here so your wheel sits on it. You're good to go.
All right, now get the brake pads and now
Right back on your rotor. There you go.
oh, okay, the brakes fit on there, and then you get to put the caliper on.
There you go. You got a clamp for that. Generally, you're gonna have that right there problem. So that ain't gonna work for you. So what you're gonna have to do is get your old brake pad.
And put it out there.
Right there. Just stick your old brake pad in there. It's used to that anyway. Don't mind me, I don't know what I'm doing.
It'd help if you had another pair of hands.
There we go. There's better clamps for the job for sure.
Yeah.
I just had this one handy. Way better clamps for the job. Good gosh. Again, there are better clamps for the job. We've only got 150 clamps in the shop. I just like using the most difficult one, just as a little challenge. You're just gonna set that all the way back in flush. They actually make a tool for this. Just can't bring myself to spend the $30 when I've got an old brake pad and a clamp. All right,
All
it'll
the
bottom
way
out,
back.
and you're good to go.
All the way back in right there, right?
Yes, sir. All right.
Now
Don't kink your hose. Just make sure and get it back where it was.
flip it over.
Put your brake pads against your caliper.
Try to put in the 14 millimeter first.
Yeah. Which you generally do that before you put this on. Not a big deal. This is why you put the bracket on before the caliper, because you only have this much room to work.
Yeah.
If you have this off, you can lay the wrench all the way here and ratchet.
Really
A lot of
think
people
about it.
have the question of why there's a process. This is why, because you're moving an eighth of your ratchet capacity when you could be working more than
half.
half.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference when you're sitting here doing this.
By
The next side, we're
a
going to show you how to do it right.
with a manual wrench.
Right. Now, you just want to use your electric ratchet, get it down there, good to go.
And that is torqued just right when you bump it 3 times.
33 times. There we go. That's done. Put your bolts in here.
Two smaller bows. Those were 18 millimeter, wasn't they?
12.
12 millimeter.
12. That was it.
Two 12s.
That. Once you've done so many, you can feel how tight it is. There we go. All right, you're back together. Put a wheel on.
Put a wheel on and brakes are done on this side. Repeat process on the other side.
You know what tools you need.
And there's your tools. And this is a what? Honda Pilot. What model?
This was a 2007. They made them from
2007 Honda Pilot back brakes.
6 to 12.
Alright. Guess that's it for now.